Today's the day. Today's the day, February 24th, 2019. It's hard to believe that Project 308 came into my life just a short 2 years ago. And with that in mind, I think it's time to do a little bit of a review once the car comes back from the body shop, which happens right now. About 2 minutes from Lawrence's. He's called. We've arranged. I actually think I see the tow truck in front of me. About 2 or 3 cars that car lengths that I'm meeting at Lawrence's to flatbed the Ferrari back to my place. Excited. We decided to leave it there for a few days longer because I needed the frame around the windshield painted black and underneath the car painted black. So we kind of forgot about that at my last video point. It is midweek and. See you back in a couple minutes. Project 308 is sitting right there. How exciting is that? It's going to sit there for the next couple months because I don't really need that hoist right now, and I figured, hey, it's better than working on the ground sitting on my back, lying on my back. Anyways, we are going to take a look at the car and everything that it needs. I've got a list in my head and part of it's on paper, but right now we're going to look at all the known issues of the car and the not known issues. Well, if they're not known, they're not known, but let's take a look together. Starting with this emergency brake mechanism back here, I'm assuming this is bent a little bit. I'm assuming that's supposed to be flat. Both cables are off the calipers. If you look over there, you can see that waving in the wind. Same thing with this side. The brake pads are missing out of this caliper over here. I have them, but they're not in it. So I'm assuming there's something wrong with this caliper. Either it's seized, something going there. Obviously all the brakes are going to have to be serviced and or replaced. They're quite corroded. All the bushings are going to get replaced in the rear here. I've already ordered these, all these control arm bushings. They're all showing signs of age. Sway bar links, I'm going to have to replace these bushings as well. They look like crap. Looking at the front driver's side of the car, I can see that it's actually had a minor poke in it. What I mean by a poke, I mean a minor accident. You can see where that's been kind of buttered up here, right there. The shock, which is here, that's the bumper impact shock, has gone in all the way and has not been returned to its normal service. So I've got 2 of these, 2 to replace these ones. These ones have collapsed. And this front frame rail has had a bit of repair. Doesn't look like I got hit hard, but I got a light little tap on it. This overspray here is from the previous paint job. It's not Lawrence. I'll be cleaning all that off. That's the rad right there. It's actually going to come out. I'm going to send it to a rad shop to have it flow tested and make sure it's okay, and pressurized, make sure it's okay. This is the front driver blower motor, and as you can see that the housing is cracked as well. I don't even know if the blower works or not, but I'm going to have to replace this. This is the passenger side blower, and it seems to be binding here, so I don't know if it works or not. These aren't terribly expensive, so I'll probably just end up replacing both of them. Looking at the front driver's side suspension, I can see the bushings are pretty old. Going to be changing them all. Everything in here is going to get replaced. And over here we can see the boot on the steering rack is ripped. Now I know you can't tell because you're not actually driving the car, but there's something binding in this steering. I'm not quite sure what's going on with it. I'm going to have to take a closer look at the steering rack in this car because it's just chunking. I can't explain that. It's just got a flat spot in it. Don't know exactly what that is right now, but I'll figure that out. Funny story, when I was going through here before I started shooting video, I was in the dark and I was looking at this right here and I actually thought it was a rust hole, and I was like, oh my god, I missed a rust hole. But it's not, it's just a little bit of the undercoating that was put on there, kind of flaking away. Gotta clean that up. All that overspray in there is from the previous paint job. I gotta straighten that out as well. Lots of wiring to sort out. Lawrence has tucked all this in here, but this is all feeding the door. This is all gotta go back into the door. All right, looking at the Scaryville, that is the interior of this vehicle. Those are the original fuse boxes. They're going to get replaced as well. I haven't decided which ones I'm going to buy yet, but it'll happen shortly. And over there, we're going to go take a look at that steering column right now. I don't know if my steering issue has got something to do with that universal joint that's down there. But something binding somewhere. The steering is actually hanging down. It's not properly up. That nut is not tightened properly. Something somewhere, somebody's been playing in here, so I know I'm going to have some sort of issue in here. I do not have that horn button. This center console needs a good amount of work just to sort of clean it up and make it respectable. I'm actually missing the lower center tunnel there. I'll have to source one of those out. That covers that wiring down there. Somebody has upgraded the ignition system. I don't know if it's an upgrade or a downgrade, but I'll be dealing with that eventually too. I may just actually convert this to an electronic fuel injection and get rid of the old point system in it. The Coney shocks I'm probably going to replace all four. Birdman 308, that great webpage if you're looking for a Ferrari-based webpage if you haven't already discovered it. He's got a procedure to lower the car on some aftermarket shocks. I'm probably going to follow his advice because I actually use his page quite a bit. He's actually got some great information. I'm going to replace all the hoses as well, all the rubber. Key is to find that braided hose over there. I don't want to put regular hose in it. I want to get the kind of the factory correct hose. I believe I've sourced it. And I have a hole there that I'm assuming was for the factory air conditioning, but I'm not quite sure. It looks like a pretty crappy cutout. I don't know whether that was somebody's way of getting it out. I don't know exactly what happened there. I'll have to come up with a solution for that right there. Anybody knows what goes there. Like I said, I believe it was the factory evaporator that was there. Somebody removed the factory air conditioning out of this. And I got some cut wires there as well, which I'm going to go with the theory that that's for the air conditioning. Driver's headlight. Lots of dangling wiring. Shouldn't be that hard to figure all out. I'm sure most of it's for the headlight and that fan. And I'm actually pretty good with wiring. That's the bulb that'll go to the front, I think. And then there should be a bulb. That's the headlight. Relay is probably for the popper, the headlight popper motor. I'm guessing, but that's what I think it's for. Lawrence has done such a great job on this paintwork that I really have to follow suit and really try and make this thing look like $1 million because I can't have this great paint job and then look underneath it and it looks like crap. So lots and lots of detail work. Right now we're gonna watch the stuff that was left over from part number 10 because Lawrence gave me so much video, good video, I didn't need anything else for part 10. So I saved it and here it is for part number 11. So when I pulled this motor out originally, I strapped a big strap to the back bank. This is the bank closest to the firewall. And I lifted it with the engine crane. The motor turned like this and allowed the motor to come up. When I disconnected the transmission from the motor, I grabbed a point here and I grabbed a point here and I used the engine crane again. I should not, in all fairness, have grabbed this because this is not meant to take the load of the engine. I actually got lucky and I was kind of not thinking when I did it. There's another point right here, which I'll show you with a different shot, but the PCV, the ventilation system is really kind of blocking it. So my idea is to use this guy right here and create a system whereas I can slide this back and forth. If you look at it, it tilts depending on which position this is, and to use my plasma cutter over here to create brackets that I can bolt here, here, there, and there, just to give it a try, see if I can make something work that is a little more robust and sexy with regard to tilting this motor back and forth. When I go to put this motor back in the car is going to be freshly painted, And I don't feel like I have a lot of control with just one strap around. I mean, it'll work, and if my idea here, if my idea doesn't work, well, then I'll go back to that method. But I have that. I might as well try and make something. I enjoy making stuff and I enjoy learning. So what I'm doing right now is I'm scanning an old exhaust manifold gasket. Now I'm using this angle finder to calculate the angle of the studs. I need an exact measurement to be able to scale my diagram. That's why I'm measuring this inner gasket circle. Once I know my diagram is properly scaled, I can start copying the gasket and creating my new design, as you'll see in the next few seconds. Now, I'm not great at this, but I'm learning and I'm getting better. I'm just amazed that I can make something from nothing. All right, we're going to set this for a dry run right now. Flippy. Okay, dry run means it's going to do everything but fire the torch. And now for the show. This is a CNC plasma table made by Langmuir Systems out of California. You can click on the link on the screen if you want to see my review of this unit. It allows me to use software, which is kind of the same software I use for my 3D printer, to actually make a part in CAD and then cut it out. How cool is that? Alright, so let's see if my design is even close. It up a bit. I don't think this unit's going to be strong enough to bend it. Ooh, I think I bent it too much. Alright, so I think the design is okay. Gonna have to make it out of thicker material though. That's just simply not, that's gonna bend too easily. One there. Let's see how it is over there. We'll bend it and then put a second bend in it to try and get it back to the angle it should be. Alright, I cut out a thicker one out of some very corroded sheet that I had kicking around, and I bent it. Let's see. And it's a much better fit. It's going to come up there. The idea is to grab the motor without the chain or whatever scratching everything that I've just worked away at, and to have better control. Make 4 of these or make 3 more and it should be good. Old one, new one. Old, new. Come over here. This is the new water pump. This is the old one. Gotta pull this pulley off. I'm gonna sandblast it, clean it and everything, put it on that, and then reassemble it all together, put it back on the motor. This is the water pump belt pulley. I just gotta take it off, clean it, sandblast it, paint it, put it back on. That's right, Lou. Hit it with a hammer. And when it doesn't come, hit it harder. Or, just maybe I should grab the right tool for the job. And look at that. It came off like it's supposed to. Who would have known? I did not blast in that center bore there, nor did I blast in the V. I'm just going to wire brush that. Media blasting can be a little bit aggressive, and I don't want to make that V any larger than it is already. So last night I went home and I edited the footage for the inspection of the car, and I'm like, oh my God, that car needs a lot of work. But then I kind of thought about it and I said, well, it's mostly age appropriate repairs. There's nothing really that wrong with it other than neglect. So despite the fact that it's a big, long project, hey, there should be lots of content for YouTube. Anyways, thanks for watching part 11. Make sure you subscribe and we'll catch you on part 12. Thanks, bye-bye.